Welcome back to CBS This Morning. We're going to begin with this. A CBS News investigation uncovers a possible pay-for-play scheme involving President Trump's ambassador nominee to the Bahamas. It raises questions about whether diplomatic posts are for sale. The impeachment inquiry has shed new light on how big political donors can receive ambassadorships. Gordon Sondland, the ambassador to the European Union, donated $1 million to President Trump's inauguration. The Trump administration has appointed political supporters to key posts abroad in higher numbers than previous administrations. Our Jim Axelrod has been investigating. Jim, good morning. What'd you learn?
Well, Tony, emails obtained by CBS News show the Republican National Committee asked the nominee to be the ambassador to the Bahamas, San Diego developer Doug Manchester, to donate $500,000 as his confirmation in the Senate hung in the balance.
When Hurricane Dorian ravaged the Bahamas in September, Doug Manchester wanted to help.
I've had a home there, and I love the water and the boating and the people.
So the San Diego real estate developer, who prefers the nickname Papa Doug, loaded up his private jet with supplies and headed for the hard-hit Caribbean country where he hoped to soon be serving as U.S. ambassador.
You know who Papa Doug is. He's your big guy in town, folks. He's great.
Following the president's 2016 win, Manchester donated $1 million to Mr. Trump's inauguration fund. He was offered the Bahamas post the day after Mr. Trump was sworn in.
Matter of fact, he says, Papa Doug, he says, you know what? I should probably be the ambassador to Bahamas, and you should be president.
For 2.5 years, Manchester's nomination stalled, but his relief trip caught Mr. Trump's attention. The president tweeted, "I would also like to thank Papa Doug Manchester, hopefully the next ambassador to the Bahamas."
You must have loved reading that tweet.
I did.
It wasn't only the Bahamians who sought his generosity. 3 days after the tweet, Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel hit up Manchester for a donation.
Did you feel like they were putting the arm on you?
No, I didn't. That's part of politics. It's unbelievable. You give and you give and you give and you give some more and more and more.
And it was no small sum. In an email obtained exclusively by CBS News, McDaniel asked Manchester, would you consider putting together $500,000 worth of contributions from your family to ensure we hit our ambitious fundraising goal?
Does any part of you feel, if you had just cut the check for $500,000, that you would be the ambassador to the Bahamas?
No, because first of all, you have to get out of committee, you have to be voted on the floor. It's a big process.
A process that he quickly addressed. He wrote back to McDaniel's request for $500,000. As you know, I'm not supposed to do any, but my wife is sending a contribution for $100,000. Assuming I get voted out of the Foreign Relations Committee on Wednesday to the floor, we need you to have the majority leader bring it to a majority vote. Once confirmed, I, our family, will respond.
You know what this looks like.
Well, it looks like it to you, but my wife gave out a separate funds, and she, in fact, loves Donald Trump.
The suggestion that a nominee needs to donate in order to be confirmed, is that something you've encountered over the course of your career before?
I have not.
Former Ambassador Barbara Stevenson served presidents of both parties for more than 3 decades. We showed her the email exchange between Manchester and McDaniel.
What do you make of it?
Serious erosion of the concept that my country doesn't sell public office.
It is a bipartisan tradition for presidents to give about 1/3 of ambassadorships to political supporters. But our investigation found they make up nearly half of Mr. Trump's picks.
Do solemnly swear.
Sitting ambassador to the UK, Woody Johnson, and ambassador to France, Jamie McCourt, have already given hundreds of thousands to the president's 2020 re-election fund.
Hola, amigos.
Robin Bernstein, who serves in the Dominican Republic, and Lana Marks in South Africa.
I started a collection with 5 handbags.
Both have been members of Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago Club, where it costs $200,000 just to join.
I really thank you for considering my nomination.
We had concerns of just about judgment, about demeanor.
Bob Corker was the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and before he retired in January, held up Manchester's nomination. We told him about Ronna McDaniel's $500,000 fundraising pitch.
The timing of that request, obviously, was not appropriate.
Even worse, he says, was Manchester's response. His big mistake was copying staffers of 2 senators who controlled his nomination, Kentucky's Rand Paul and Idaho's Jim Risch, the chairman of the committee, and alerting them to his willingness to donate more after confirmation.
I can only tell you that if I had received an email like that, there would have been a 5-bell alarm that went off.
And that is exactly what happened. Senator Risch notified the White House, which then asked Manchester to withdraw. He officially pulled out last month, citing personal reasons.
I love our president. I love our country.
So how painful was it to have to withdraw?
Hey, listen, politics is politics.
Ronna McDaniel declined our interview request, but in a statement, the RNC told us the chairwoman did not suggest to Mr. Manchester in any way that it would more quickly advance his confirmation if members of his family made a political contribution. The RNC says Mr. Manchester's decision to link future contributions to an official action was totally inappropriate. They said they have cut ties with him and returned the money his family donated earlier this year.
Yeah, you wonder if the mistake was putting it all in an email or
Yes.
if it was an actual violation of policy and what people think is
Yeah, I mean, as you point out, there is a history of particular benefactors getting ambassadorships.
Democrats, Republicans,
yeah.
but it's usually been about 35%. Now it's closer to 50%.
To half.
It doesn't sound like draining the swamp. When you hear that particular side say that they want it to be different than it has been, it sounds like it's more the same.
Filling up.
Jim, thank you. On today's CBS This Morning podcast, Jim shares new details on his investigation. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.